We're live now.
We're live.
It's Mike and Phil show.
The Mike and Phil show. The Mike and Phil show. It's going to take off. And we can breathe, and now we can do a meditation.
And now we're going to sit into a meditation.
The meditation stage. Sit in the lotus position, ladies and gentlemen, as you want, or don't. We give you free will. Oh dear. It's tiring, isn't it? I'm suffering.
Suffering here. Oh, is it? I'm not sure, but he is not of good health. He is poor in vitality, and he is of typical Jew physique.
Typical Jew physique. Fuck off! I'm 6'3".
Listen to there you go.
I'm 6'3". My surname.
Feel the pain of what's been said.
My surname means small.
Right? Listen to his defense mechanisms kick into play.
Baby. I'm justifying myself.
Justifying yourself.
Gotta do that.
He has to build his image back up again.
I'm pointing out the nonsense of your statement. You're saying the typical Jew image. Most people would associate Jewish people with not being over 6 foot tall. Wouldn't you say? Because that was part of the whole thing with Adolf, my friend Adolf. He was like, he was talking about the Aryan, and he was a total reflection of the Aryan super race. Adolf Hitler. He was talking about these blonde-haired, blue-eyed people, and he was blonde-haired and blue-eyed.
Yeah.
Talking about muscular, and you could see him. He wasn't scrawny at all. He was very. This is sarcasm. He was very muscular, he was exact, and all of them were. And the Germans are very smart people. They didn't see the people talking about the Aryan master race were exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
He wasn't like a self-hating Jew. Bit of controversy.
So, what you think? Adolf Hitler was basically a Jew.
I mean, that hasn't been proven, or maybe it has. People have got different theories, but
physically, like,
if you look at
genetically a Jew. That's what I'm talking about.
If you look at him, you would think, is he more Aryan or Jewish?
You couldn't really say one or the other. I mean, I think it could go either way.
Could be.
He's probably
either way.
He could be mixed.
He's a mixed Aryan Jew.
And, I think the point about Hitler is purity, right? He wanted the pure race
because he's lacking the purity within himself.
He was lacking it, and so that was projection of some sort. That was
on there and thinking the old delusional that we think it's all out there, and we think that sort everything out, all the problems we have to go out there and do that, and it's all within ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. It's all inside.
It's all inside of you, people.
So that's the only thing you can change it.
Someone else can't change it. It's only you can do that, or you can take something that helps you do that. Either way.
This is Phil or Mike just doing the sanity version. Well, I go off on not
again. This is me trying to bring down the helium balloon that's flown into orbit here. I'm bringing it back down to Earth.
Bring it back to Earth. Grounding the experience.
I'm grounding the experience.
So people can relate to it.
Yeah, people need to relate to this. Otherwise, this is why fails as a comedian.
Because no one, baby.
Because no one can relate to. He is unrelatable to the masses.
The masses.
He is not. He is not the Nike or the Kellogg's Krispies of the masses. He is.
I don't know what he is.
What are you to the masses?
I'm the breakfast cereal.
You're not.
The breakfast cereal.
Well, if it was a breakfast cereal, it'd make it easier because within the confines of what is a cereal that would be.
It's a cereal of bread, really. Cereal of bread and butter. A version of cereal that isn't is cereal, but isn't really. That's just a stupid version of cereal.
Right.
It'd be like
floppy bread. We're talking like just a floppy piece of bread.
It'd be like okay, there's milk, and there'd be bread. It's eating bread in the cereal. The bread would be the cereal, and there would be milk, soya milk.
Yes, he is a vegan or vegetarian thing. So again, this is another thing between me. I'm a meat eater, but he is a vegetarian.
You're destroying the planet.
I destroy the planet.
You're killing everything.
I'm killing everything, including you.
It's your fault.
Yes, I am to blame.
Later today, he'll be eating me alive.
We have that dualism there of veg eater, meat eater, and I think that's a good thing for the audience because they can.
Done it for them.
Again, it's the voice of sanity versus the voice of insanity.
Yeah.
And I just
eating those animals
directed towards the other man.
Not eating animals. That's just madness. Come on, there's a cow there. That must be food. That's delicious dinner.
You know what? Our definition of life is very restrictive. I think our definition of life, only really encompasses the animals with legs and a brain and a heart. But life is everywhere. We're sitting on life. We're breathing in life. Life is fucking everything. And if
it's fucking everything.
Yeah,
literally, because it creates, it recreates, it
everything is fucking.
Literally, how can anything not be part of life?
I think you mean part of reality.
No, life.
Because life.
You're saying even the air, or that leaf up there, You're saying this is part of life.
That's well, yes, that is, because
so everything is part of life.
this is carbon, right? Life is carbon. So
I thought it was a tree, right? But it's carbon. Another
we're all made from carbon.
That also creates diamonds, doesn't it?
It does.
What the hell went wrong with that bollocks?
That's when you compress this.
Sort that out. That's what we need to do. We need to say that's all carbon. What we need to do is to turn this into a diamond.
Yeah.
And then we can
pressure.
say, fuck you, Kanye West. We got our shit sorted out. We're just jealous of them, really.
Well, that's how diamonds are made, actually. Diamonds
from
are
trees.
manufactured nowadays, and there's a big scam in the industry. Do not buy diamonds from that are claimed to be real, because the real diamonds are
Buy
bullshit.
them from the Democratic Republic of Congo, because that's a cheerful situation. It's all about resources, actually. I mean, that's the fundamental part.
Resources.
There's a lack of resources, and they're fighting over the resources, and they believe. And within the whole system, there's like, we got our bottom mountains and all that. We have an excess of resources here.
We have resources
stolen
everywhere.
some of them.
Yeah.
And so they've got a lack, right? And that's how the system plays. Actually, there's some parts that have too much and some parts that have too little. And the parts that have too little, they all fight each other naturally enough over the scarce resources, and that's where the wars come out.
This is globalism in action, basically.
Well, it's been going on for a long time, this kind of stuff. And so the diamonds is like wealth, and then they turn the wealth into guns to kill people.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. It's not
That's
very
how it is.
complicated, really. It's not very
And
complicated.
all that happens, the reason why there's an imbalance of wealth and food everywhere is back to the ego, I think. The ego wanting to want more than it needs, you know?
All the time.
The ego always wants more
The
food.
ego feels it's not
more
enough.
yes, the ego's never enough.
We feel we're not enough, and the only way we accumulate more and more and more. And then
Adding to the
it still
ego.
is never enough, because that's the thing about the mentality of it's never enough. It doesn't matter how much you accumulate, it's still never enough. You see, you've got to keep on doing more and more and more.
Yeah.
And our perception is you've got to go within this reality. The reality, it is we have a finite amount of resources. Again, that's an illusion, and we might get onto that, we might not. Because there are no rules in reality, we just
There are no rules. Rules are just a creation of humanity.
an attempt to create
fabrication.
order.
An attempt to create order from chaos. An attempt
Absolutely.
to make things stable and to make things seem long-lasting and more than what they are.
Yes. I don't think we know what most things mean, because when we use language, we're so glib with the way, and so kind of, I don't know, but we're so glib, and another word that represents glib, which I can't think of.
We're so glib, glove.
All the words, like, you know, people talk about, transformation. What does that mean? Power, being powerful. It's like, it's just word. And when people talk about inspiring and inspiration all the time, and those people aren't inspiring in the way they do. It's like I remember, like, with the Olympics, right?
Oh yeah.
And it was like, the Olympics, amazing. And I looked at people, and they were miserable. They go to the event, and then they get into it, and then they come out and back into their normal reality.
Back into the normal reality of going back on the tube, complaining about the tube, complaining about the people that's around them.
It's like if they have like a couple of hours at a sports event.
Yeah.
Wow. And then it's like go back to our shit.
Yeah, the sports events are basically like legal highs, because at sports events you experience a meditative moment when you watch the sport in
like
action.
Out of
it's in the moment. You're
wow.
following
and then
it.
What we do is then, like, there's this text thing on the BBC with the football. It's like comments. Oh yeah, my opinion. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I find funny, like, people like people were slagging off Joey Barton. You know him? No, you
I don't
probably
know Joey Barton.
He's a legend, Joey Barton, a footballer, right? Because he was saying about Wayne Rooney. He's like a scout. Wayne Rooney's not world class. And they're saying, Joey Barton, what does he know about it? He's a professional, he's played for England.
Okay.
And they're saying that Joey Barton, because he's not world class, he doesn't know. I'm thinking, well, he's a professional footballer, he's played for England. Surely his opinion about who is world class is more fucking valid than someone who's never fucking played professional football. Do you know what I'm saying? No, never mind. That's just not relevant.
No, I get what you mean. And you're saying that this world class, genuinely world class man, he's saying that he isn't really.
No, he's not. I'm not saying he's a world class, but he's someone who has played with world class players. He's someone. Joey Barton. Google him, ladies and gentlemen. He's a legend. Bit of a thug. But a nice guy and a thug at the same time, bit of dualism. He's authentic and he's a wanker and he's a nice bloke.
All wrapped up into a nice little package.
Into a football player. But he's played with world-class players and against him. You would think he would have a more valid perspective of what is world-class, and Joe Bloggs who thinks, because they all say that, oh Joe, but what does it? I know, I'll tell you what a world-class footballer is, because I'm so much more in tune with what a world-class footballer is than someone who's actually played with and against world-class.
Well, we all like to think, people like to think when they watch these things because they've watched hundreds of football matches that they are an expert.
They know what's going on.
They know what's going on, and they. No, unless you are a player or within the game itself, you don't know the intricacies, and the real
there's certain
art
dynamics,
of the game, I think.
There's certain dynamics, and from a psychological perspective, you can have an understanding of the dynamics. I mean, the best managers weren't necessarily the best players. In fact, the best players, because of the ego within themselves, that they're so good, most of the best players are rubbish managers. There's some exceptions, but a lot of them, because they can't deal with the fact that they're so good, they can't deal with the fact that the players can't operate at the standard that they can. And the best managers, like Alex Ferguson, he was an okay footballer, but he never played international football. Arsene Wenger, again, Jose Mourinho, none of these people, I don't know if Jose Mourinho even played professional football, but Arsene Wenger did, but they weren't renowned. The best managers, it takes something very different to be a manager than to be a player. When you're a player, you're part of a team, but when you're the manager, you can think about yourself. When you're a manager, you've got to think of a bigger picture. You've got to think, there's so many different pressures. You've got the players, you've got the supporters, you've got the board, you've got the media, you've got your own expectations, and it's a tough I think it's insanely difficult job.
I think more so now probably with how the media covers the footballers' lives.
It's like 24 hours a day.
24 hours. I can't believe there is news channels dedicated to sport.
Yeah.
I think more than one news channel, right?
Loads. Sky Sports has got 4 channels, and that's just Sky Sports. There's all the different varieties of sport, and then there's the different versions. But a lot of the sport is not about the sport. A lot of the sport is about. A lot of the stuff that they talk about isn't actually related to the game specifically. Some of it is, like especially controversial things, which sell there. We love controversy, but a lot of it is like news conferences, the things they say, and also about. A lot of the time, the news is like a bloke like Wayne Rooney in a car. That is a news story, or the manager in a car, because he's going to come out with a few quotes, and then David Beckham got a haircut. What's all that about?
This makes the news.
News. And it's not.
See, the thing is with this football news, almost anything is coverable because it's football.
Everything is, man.
Everything is coverable. It's not like if that worked the same way in regular news, like if they covered like a park. News at 10.
Yesterday there's 2 people in the park. They wore hats, ladies and gentlemen. They were by trees.
That's the kind of level of craziness I see in the sports news. How they cover the old lives of these players.
These people, they've set them on a pedestal, like the royal family. Like they set them on this pedestal as being so important. These are because they're earning so much money and they have ill influence and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But then it's like the opposite. It's just another form of dehumanisation, which is something we do as a species. We can't deal with people as they are. So what we do is we either dehumanise them, make them less than human, or we do the opposite with these pop stars and all that kind of. We make them into more than human beings. People are desperate for heroes. Me and him, we're going to be your heroes.
Blip and blob.
We're going to be blip and blob. And it feels like we've got so many problems. They talk about in the press about the new Man United manager, Louis van Gaal, if he's going to be. Is he going to be the saviour? That's what they talk about. That's the people, the expectation on the managers is they're the same because it's like they're like Moses.
Right.
They're going to deliver us to the promised land, the land of milk and honey, when we win the league.
I think there's a big problem with England as a team. The pressure put on England as a team is ridiculous.
To be fair, the only thing is that happens like every country,
every world, it's every team.
You look at Brazil, especially in the World Cup, insane pressure in Brazil, insane pressure in Italy. There is an expectation in England. It's part of the English mentality where we don't have a healthy relationship with success. So I don't know where I'm going to go with this. We'll see where I go. The big part of the problem is we have this massive empire. We can't get in touch with the terms that we're just a small little piece of land in the great schemes, and we're no longer a third of the world. And there's so many things about the sport, relationship with sport. There's the thing of, with the English fans, there's 2 things going on. One is, I hope we win, but we're not going to we're going to lose them penalties. There's the expectation, the belief, the mentality is, we're not going to do it. And that is so typically English. And there are successes, like England won the Rugby World Cup one time. Some bloke won the tennis. Although, if the Scots quit, that won't count anymore.
Exactly.
It'll be like, no, when's the first English person going to win it? We're still waiting for the England. But now it's okay. And these things happen every now and then. But obviously with the World Cup, 48 years now, I think there's that thing of being a winner, it's like you're perceived as like an arrogance. Like Nick Faldo was possibly the greatest golfer ever. He won 6 majors and he wasn't popular because that was that perception of, you know, he's too arrogant, he's too aloof, and he was a winner. It's like Frank Bruno, lovable loser. Everyone loves Big Frank.
Yeah.
Lennox Lewis, not as popular.
And Lennox won more, is that right?
Yeah, he was a legitimate Frank Bruno won the world, but he won one out of about 5 belts.
Right, I remember
Lennox
that,
Lewis, I believe, I could be wrong, Google it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I believe he was he beat Holyfield, he beat Tyson, he beat all the main players.
Right, okay.
And he was more successful, but Frank Bruno is more popular. So we have this thing, it's not just me who says this, it's this thing about the lovable loser. Because it's like we can identify with that, because we suck in so many ways, we suck in our lives.
I think it represents the British person, right? So the Frank Bruno represents, the Wayne Rooney's represent the typical British man and their mentality. Yeah. Why does this happen on a psychological level?
They can't deal with being number one, they can't deal with being the best. You want to be one of the lads, you want to be one of the people, you want the people to like you. The English.
It's about acceptance. So you feel like if Rooney was, you know,
if he had the mentality of Ibrahimovic, for example, or Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, right? So if you put
he would have done
Ronaldo's
better.
brain in Wayne Rooney's body, do you think
and
there'll be
mentality?
The mentality. Do you think there'll be consequences against him? Do you think he'll be rejected by the group?
Yes.
Well, give me an example of a footballer who has had the skill of Wayne Rooney, but also the intellect, you know, to actually do well.
Well, that's the question, because you look at the people we can represent. There's the 3 most talented players. There's 4. I'll get onto the 4th one, which is Bale. But the other 3, the most talented British footballers in the last 30 years would be George Best, Paul Gascoigne, and Wayne Rooney. None of whom, for different reasons, have made the most of their talent. Best, it was alcohol, and also he couldn't deal with it. He was like the 5th Beatle. Yeah. He was the first footballer who transcended football and became a rock star. He couldn't deal with that, which is understandable. Gascoigne, it was alcohol, pure alcohol, and Rooney is just, he hasn't, I mean, he's got attributes. He's got hunger, desire. Though I think he's lost that. He had hunger when he came in. He was hungry. He had desire. He wanted to be the best, and then he's become complacent in the sense that, you know, he's won loads of things, which is great.
He's very rich now. He's not, you know.
He hasn't got the hunger to go out there.
He has no reason. Maybe for Rooney, perhaps it was just a money thing. Perhaps Rooney was in it just to sort out his life, just to live, you know, a good life.
I think that's one element, but also it was also about success for him. But he's achieved that success.
He's achieved success.
5, 6 league titles, whatever, European Cup.
This goes back to the ego. You know, the ego wants something, wants it, it doesn't want it anymore. You know, the ego wants it, gets happy.
Wants something else.
It's not. Yeah, it's like getting into a relationship, like marrying your whoever your dream girl is, and then after the marriage, it's like, oh, you know, I've done
it. Like the illusion of happy. They say
still feel empty afterwards.
They lived happily ever after. I always got, when I looked at that as a kid with a fairy tale, I was like, well, what the fuck happened? I always asked the question. Okay, they lived how?
Yeah.
They got together and how? Because I could not imagine.
Yeah.
I could not imagine how you're going to live happily ever after. I wanted to know, and they never explained that.
I think if you look at these Disney movies, they did not live happily ever after. I think that was tacked on the end there just to kind of save face. But I think if you continue the movie of, say, Beauty and the Beast, you know, once you get to the ending, if the movie suddenly discontinued, you know, you'd see the next scene.
You're a superficial bitch.
The Beast and Beauty in the kitchen, you know, arguing because the Beauty dropped a plate, and that sparked off some kind of previous resentment in the relationship.
I left the toilet seat up. You collapsed the toilet seat. The Beast collapsed the toilet seat, for fuck's sake. Again, Beast, don't shit standing up, Beast. Come on, you're too heavy for that fucking toilet seat. They'd have arguments like that. That's exactly the type of argument people have all the time.
And
that's but it doesn't reflect. It's a fairy tale. It doesn't reflect the true nature.
Yeah.
Because
why is it brainwashing then?
Because people,
I think it could be brainwashing, isn't it?
It's taking people away from the actual facts and the reality of life, which for people, I don't know their number, but a lot of people to some degree life isn't the way they want it to be. Life doesn't meet the criteria, the boxes that they would have ticked. That they have the job, the relationship, and they might have that, but then there'll be elements about those that they don't like, and then they feel that they might lose the job or whatever. It's like there's no such thing as living the dream, because there's reality all the time, and this is all set up as a way of making people feel hope or feel that things can be better, and they can't, because to do that they have to escape from the present moment. They have to go into an imaginary future which doesn't exist. The only place that you can be happy, and this is like Derrida, this is Eckhart Tolle, they'll tell you all that nonsense. The only place you can experience is in this moment, because this is all there is.
This is all there is. There's nothing else.
This is everything there is, and you imagine the future, and it never comes. Because it doesn't exist. It's just another moment in the now. I'd read these books and I'd be like, I kind of get it, and I couldn't experience it, and it's very frustrating, because I'm being present, I'm still pissed off with life. And then it's a process of letting go of what you're not satisfied with.
Exactly, it's about letting go. That's what I realised. We hold on to so many things, possessions, ideas, what you name it, and we have a hard time letting go of things. I think this is why we end up with hoarders in society. Hoarders are the kind of the physical representation
David Beckham
of ego. I think the physical representation of the ego, of wanting to accumulate things and needing to hang on to things, and feeling attached to things that aren't like
they just can't let go of it.
Keep bags, hoarders would keep useless objects, not even things that are useful, and
they need more to make themselves feel more real, perhaps, to make themselves feel like the more stuff they have, the more they feel, the more solid they feel, the more they feel. That's a nice burp, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't control it. That's the mind-body mechanism. That's the mind-body machinery doing its thing. That's what it's all about. That's the ego. You burping?
I'm trying to burp.
You're trying to burp.
That was a pre-burp.
You try hard. You're a burping try-hard.
I am.
Which brings us to David Moyes. He tried too hard. Understandable. That's why he failed. There we go. That's the end of that.
So that wraps
I
up
love the thing about the David Moyes. There was one article in the Huffington Post which said, man sacked, wasn't very good at his job. That was it. And that was the true nature of what happened. He got sacked, happens to people all the time. He wasn't good enough at the job, happens to people all the time. But there's so much stuff written about it, which I've contributed as well. So much stuff people saying about blah blah blah. And it's just more stuff, and it's just your opinion,
stuff,
and it's not reflecting what actually happened.
There's too much stuff.
Very simple.
There's too many. Life is very simple. I think we overcomplicate life.
Yes.
And we try to make it more than it is, because we can't. I don't think the human brain can deal with simplicity. I think for some reason things need to be complicated. I don't know. There must be some kind of
more. The more complicated it is, the more you feel this is important, this is worthwhile.
More significant.
It's like simple. As you're right, it's simple.
But we can't. I think if we realise how simple life is, we will.
It's like, what's the point?
What's the point? People will.
It's not worthwhile. There's
no point doing anything anymore. There's no point going to work.
We're not even on weed, ladies and gentlemen. We've never taken that shit. What's going on?
What's going on? But I think we need significance in order to live for some reason. This is why religion
makes
exists.
It worthwhile.
Religion makes life significant because you feel there's meaning to things.
Adds meaning where there is no inherent meaning.
There is no meaning to anything.
Religion brings that meaning in.
Yeah, religion gives at least a basic meaning to life.
Because people need that.
People need
the only thing is, it's not an empowered meaning. Like the Son of God was nailed to whatever. Oh, very lovely, nice sacrificial thing going on, and he was God, part God, sacrificing himself. Well, that sounds a very logical story.
All I know.
And then let's have these Easter eggs. There's these chocolate Easter eggs, which completely reflects the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Apparently, eggs mean rebirth. I think I learned recently. Chocolate's tasty. It's obviously bullshit, Western world marketing. But I mean, that's why they use the egg.
Saint Paul. He was a brilliant marketer. Saint Paul.
Really.
And he was because he did.
What did he do?
You know, he heard of Saint Paul.
He was Saul,
and became Saint Paul. Google it, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't know. He just whoever it is. He did not know about Hindus and the cows. Get in touch with reality, my friend. And the cows love the Hindus. But no, that's why you didn't get my Moscow joke about the Muslims and the Hindus. Why do they go on?
Why don't get any of your jokes?
You don't get anything I say. Some people do. I can't believe it.
I can't
believe anyone gets any of the shit I say.
Stuff you need material.
This needs to be censored out.
That'll be bleeped. Yeah.
But The thing is, St. Paul,
Of course we have
he
to
did
read the
word
bleeps.
he did
Yeah,
word to
ridiculous
word.
about
The best advertising is word, is mouth to mouth, word to word. He would go around to people talking about Jesus, blah blah blah, and that spread it all like crazy.
Right.
And he was the brilliant one. He was brilliant at that. He was a cunt. In my opinion, we're gonna get crucified for that. I don't think he was a nice person.
We will be crucified before the second episode, I'm pretty sure, ladies and gentlemen. This will be
He
the first
wasn't,
and last
in my
episode.
opinion, I could be completely wrong. I just
Yeah.
don't. I think Jesus did not have, if he did exist, still up for doubt, he didn't have very good people surrounding him, which is how it works.
Jesus was a bit like the Michael Jackson of
Yeah, it's all the
of the olden
company.
times, you know.
It was all
Michael
the
Jackson had
company,
bad
yeah.
company, ended up killing him. Jesus had bad company, they also ended up killing him, didn't they? Like what they?
Jesus, I think they did
His
kill him.
people kind of were involved. One of them.
Well,
at
they
least.
kind of, that was Judas.
Yeah.
There's a whole story about that, but they didn't help him very much. But we don't know. I mean, it's just one perception which comes from the Gospels, and there's one other. I think it's Josephus mentioned something about people talking about this person, and that's all that we know. So there's very little that we know. It's a story.
Yeah. It's a story, and I don't think we
There's
know.
very little that we know about what was
I
going
don't
on
think.
there.
I don't think there's anything we know really. I mean,
We're
there's no.
none of us really know what was going on in Judea or Palestine back in the day.
Right.
2000. We have some. That's the thing.
These books weren't
people
written at the
find,
time. These
People
aren't
find these
newspapers.
stones or these excavations or whatever, or these literature, and they come up with these elaborate meanings about how it was, and we believe it's like that.
Yeah.
In 2000 BC, it was exactly like that. That stone represented it. It's just a stone, and there's a meaning attached to that. It's a story because we love coming up with stories. Which is there's no bad thing as long as you recognise it's just a story.
Yeah,
it can be
exactly.
entertaining.
Stories,
it can be educational.
stories are great.
You can learn.
Stories
from
have
them.
many purposes, but the second you attach yourself to the story,
And you don't think it's a story, you think it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you lose the meaning of the story.
Then exactly. Then you absorb by the story. Then you become the story. Then that's how most people live their lives. Most people live their lives.
We've done the
attached
research, yeah.
to their story.
Well, we can say that because I think you and me, I can certainly say I was completely attached.
I was hugely attached.
We all.
up
So
until
we
very
can't say
recently.
for all of.
And I think there's still always
Yes,
be an element
both of us, man,
of
because
attachment. We will never. No one can ever be free of the
We
story.
don't know if that's if you can or you can't.
Well,
it's an absolute. There.
It's okay. I think
I get what you're saying.
you
but
can be less attached and more attached because the story
cool.
because the story is very involving. The story is very engaging. The story is the most interesting
You
story.
believe it's real.
Because you believe it's real.
You believe
Yeah.
this is how it is, and the reality is what is going on. This is not happening in real time because we are getting the information. We were getting light. The speed of light means there's a speed of light, which means it's not instant, which means it takes however long it takes. It's very quick, and the speed of sound is also very quick, but it's not instantaneous, which means the actual information, the actual where it's actually happening, is a slightly bit ahead of us. So we are always a tiny bit in the past, and I think that creates this level of inauthenticity. It creates this thing of who are we, what's going on, because we're not completely present to the actual moment, because it's always happening a step behind.
Right.
The reality is we are observing right now, we're observing something that has happened an instant ago. The way people live their life is like they're at the movie theatre and they're like, I'm in the movie, and they're watching it, I'm in the movie, and all you're doing is watching and observing something that happened an instant ago, rather than what's happening this second.
Exactly. Now I feel you're absolutely right. You know, we don't observe real time. With the not knowing reality, I feel that we experience reality at a certain rate. You know, we can only experience reality at this speed, for example.
Yeah.
Whereas, why is reality this speed? Maybe reality is much slower than this. Maybe it's much faster.
I think it's slower and faster, and all. Like Einstein talked about time being relative, which means that the closer you travel towards the speed, the quicker it speeds up. And there are different levels. It's not, but we've entranced ourselves. And I got a backwards watch. It's brilliant. It makes time play. But it's like we've entranced ourselves to believe this. It's very persuasive. It's got all the numbers. It's all in order, and the thing is going 1 second at a time. But there's no such thing. Why is it 1 second? Why is it that specific amount of time? Whereas in reality, life isn't ordered. Life isn't linear. There are no lines within reality, and we create lines to give us the illusion that it is. But time is just a construct, and it's just now.
Yeah, we make time up to make life seem. I mean, what does time do for us exactly? Time adds.
Gives us order.
It adds realness, I guess.
It makes it feel more real.
Yeah.
It makes it feel more
If
ordered.
you could say 1 hour from now, 1 hour, and 1 hour in the past, you feel like.
It makes us feel we know we have.
You
We know
where
where
you
we
are. Yeah, I think people
we
need
know
to
we
know
are.
where
We can
they
say
are.
we're going to meet you at 6 o'clock, and
Yeah.
I'll be at 6:45. It's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, so save 12p. So
You're such a
it's
cunt.
fantastic. He's such a poor bastard.
Hate me forever. I know. I got stuff about time. I do. I can't be arsed with it.
No, neither can I. I really think time is irrelevant. I think
Irrelevant?
time.
Irreverent?
Irreverent. That does sound like.
dogs know much. Dogs
Dustly
know
or Muttley, whoever from the.
Dustin.
Yeah.
Butley.
Butley, yeah.
Up the Butley.
We can never know what time is because there's no such a thing as time. Time happens right
time
now.
Where
I mean,
is it? If you take
time-
the clocks and watches
Yeah.
away, where the hell is time?
The problem with time is it takes you away from the present moment.
Yeah.
I think you know knowing the time doesn't mean you know what's now. You can all right, 38, 39, 40.
That takes you away.
That takes you away because now you're just reading a watch and you're just trying to
A
do
string of
something else.
numbers.
Yeah, a string of numbers that just have some
It's a complete construct. Numbers and
significance
letters are
in
a
society.
construct.
Like everything is a construct of the human mind here. I mean, there really isn't. I don't know, like society, for example, religion, borders, time. You know, it's
Yeah.
all man-made, and we
Yeah,
don't.
it is.
We've forgotten that. I think people have taken that for granted, and now we just live it. We just you know assume it's right when you know maybe this is not the right way to live.
I don't know. I think there's something to look at is going into the right and wrong way, because that creates. Because you can get very easily into this state of mind, which I've been of. This is right and this is wrong.
Right.
Because you can look at it and say this is completely wrong, but then you're attached to the situation, and it just
You're judging the situation.
you're
right?
judging the
Or you're
situation.
judging something.
You're judging it and saying the reality is it just is.
It just is.
It just
Everything
is. There's no
just is.
right or wrong in reality.
But I mean, what stops you from just murdering people then? You know, what is?
It's not very.
If it's not right
it
or
would-
wrong,
because I know it wouldn't work for me to do that.
it wouldn't work for
make
you.
it wouldn't make me happy.
murder, make it work for you. It's like
Murder,
a
that's the other-
self-help
If
for murder.
I would, because I know I would feel an incredible amount of guilt.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of suffering. I killed anyone. There'd be a lot of suffering. So you're protected, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There would be a lot of suffering, and it wouldn't work for me to do that.
Right. I think that's you come across a good point there. I feel
Finally.
finally there was some sense to. Yeah.
By the way, if there is advertising before this, buy it, buy all of them, because everything they're selling you is definitely accurate and true, and it reflects you. Buy all the adverts. They don't lie to you, ladies and gentlemen.
You need
They're not
whatever it is
tricking
they're
your
trying to
mind.
sell.
You need that. If you're a woman, you need a penis enlargement.
Yeah.
And if you're a man, you need a breast enlargement. Buy it, and yes, they definitely work. Those penis pumps, they don't fuck up your penis by taking blood and all over the place. They're legitimate, ladies and gentlemen. We endorse them 100%, don't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, the Phil and Mike
Buy
show.
everything. Buy advertising. All advertising is truthful. They truly reflect the true nature. They're not bullshitting with your mind by giving you a pretend version of how a fantasy, getting you to buy into like the fast car makes
Ladies
you
and
think you have a
gentlemen.
bigger penis.
think-
Of course you do. When you get a big car,
Yeah.
your penis grows by 10 inches. It's amazing. I bought 20 cars and I've got a 200-inch penis, like my pizza. It's amazing how it works. My advertising, it works.
But what Phil's trying to say there is that it's all a game. It's
all a game.
It's all a game, and people get roped into
It's
the game.
a con, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, no, it's not even a con. A con it seems like, you know, it's let's not even
a house,
define
baby.
it. Let's just say it's a game because
It is a game.
A game is, you know, something we just made. It's like children playing in the playground. They make
But
up
they're
games.
rules.
They
They're
make up
rules. That's the
rules,
thing.
and you know, so the
That's
kids
why it's a con, because of the rules of the game. It's like the house. It's like you could call the house, you know, the house in a gambling thing. That is the 1%. That is the elite. They knew how the game works out, and so they set it up in a certain way. Like they're the house, and that's why everyone's fucked off, because people know it's not fair, and it isn't fair. But then again, if you set up the game, it's totally natural. You're going to set up a game in such a way that it's going to be rigged in your favour, and then you can get, when you suss it out, you can get really pissed off because it's not like this game is fucked up, and then you got to like take yourself away and detach yourself from it. It's just a fucking game. It's nuts, and come up with different games. That, like, this is a game that we're playing which works better, which is more fun, and there's no winners and losers apart from me.
always loses on this
I
game.
always lose at the games. But I
It comes in 500 points in the minus, and
I know.
he just keeps on losing after that.
The stuff I write. Negative, down, down, down. Minus 8,000,000,004. That's a record.
This is why exists to bring up the points
Bring it
here.
up the
This
points.
is, you know,
gets positive 8,000,000,077.
I get good reviews, guys. Yeah, 5-star. I'm 5-star, and that's
I was
0 star. 1-star.
I got 1 star. I got three 1 stars. That was my successful comedy show. It was legendary.
Yeah, you got 3 stars, one from each gig.
Even if you were suffering, even if the toes with shit-coated toes came from the sky, that would be more enjoyable than watching his show.
Why did your show suck so much?
Because I sucked.
No, come on. What was wrong with your show?
I was in a very bad place. It was 2006.
Right.
I dropped my show that I was going to do about 8 weeks before because I was bored of it. I thought I'd come up with a new show.
Right.
And I was not in the right place. I wasn't ready. I was not in the right place to do an Edinburgh show. Problem was, I'd done a show the previous year, half an hour. It'd gone quite well. I was happy with it. Got a 3-star review. Can't believe that. It went okay. Thought I was ready. I wasn't ready to do it now. It's a big step up.
Right.
Half an hour.
Your ego got in the way there,
I
right?
wanted to make it.
Yeah.
Nice, but
Keeping it natural.
There'll be plenty of flatulence and coming along, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We'll be shitting by the trees. That's all protocol to come, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't, we'll show you some images.
We're just trying to make you, we're animals. We're trying to remind you that
That's
you
part of
are
it.
an animal. You listening right here.
That's not the whole thing, but yes,
You're
it's
an
true.
animal driven by instincts, driven by the need to fuck, driven by the need to eat and
That's
not
basic,
die. Basically, that's what we are, right?
Survival and
we're
reproduction.
survival machines, and we are
Survival and reproduction.
we are auto-programmed to do these things, and we're not even aware of it. We're not aware that I wear this jacket and it's very nice. I wear these jeans and everything.
He's the fashion element of the show.
Yeah, is of the fashion. I am the beauty. He's the beast of the Mike and Phil show.
He's even got a better hat.
This is to bring up the points here, to bring up the stars.
My mum bought this.
Yeah, Phil
and this as well.
is mainly I think
I'm too lazy to buy clothes.
your mum does everything for you.
She does.
Hasn't learned to be a man yet, basically, ladies and
still a
gentlemen.
boy, ladies
He's still a
and gentlemen.
boy, and that's very adorable. He's looking for a mummy. Phil, if there's any mummies out there who are looking for a 40-year-old boy,
Nigella Lawson.
Nigella Lawson.
Nigella Lawson.
Oh yes, I live with my mum as well, though. So I'm not.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, it's not gonna work,
so
too.
I'm 32 nearly, and I live with my mum. But I am independent from my mum. I look after myself.
I've broken that. I've still got my umbilical cord, ladies and
I have
gentlemen.
cut my umbilical
You
cord.
did? How the fuck do you do that? It's
that,
like literally, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
My mum is holding on to that umbilical cord. It's amazing.
This is why we can't have any cameras
Most
filming this right now.
elasticated
It'd be too
experience.
disgusting to broadcast this over YouTube. Some
But we'll
man
be
umbilical
showing you an
cord attached to his
umbilical
mother
cord. We'll
after
be showing
40
you an
years of
image of
leaving
it.
her womb. The image will be there. Use your imagination to attach a 40-year-old
New
Jew.
form of
man to
bungee
it.
jumping, ladies and gentlemen, with the umbilical cord attached.
So that's an image there of
surprisingly.
a joke that works for you.
didn't work.
That didn't work. That's for you. It just didn't work. Doesn't
Thanks,
work.
man. You're building me up.
I don't think you can be turned down any further. I think you've done the damage. I'm just pointing it out, man. That's just the way it is.
Oh, thanks, man.
Is that ego versus ego there?
What's it all about?
Yeah.
Good.
But okay, so we started somewhere. I don't know how we ended up over here, but I feel we've just gone around the world in a conversation. There's some children posing on a tree trunk right now for the mum. Look at this
self-conscious, natural.
Right.
Fucking.
No.
They need to be like adults, which is fucking self-conscious.
This should look miserable. This should look like that someone had just died. Their heads are hanging low. They've got no life to them, no energy to them. Where's the vitality? Where the kids are meant to be running around?
That we're talking about them.
I think children are very connected to the isness
closer.
of life. So when there's a problem,
They haven't bought into all the bullshit.
They haven't bought into the bullshit yet. They don't understand the game. They don't. They can see us playing.
They don't even know it's a game.
Well,
they don't even know what's going on.
I mean, I think a child maybe sees humans as playing a different game that they're not playing, a boring game. When I was a child, I looked at adults as the financial people, the business people, like, oh, I play a game. I don't want to play that game. That sounds a bit shit. I want to play this game.
I wasn't aware when I was a kid that there was a game going on. I just
Yeah.
thought, this is what the fuck is going on? This is bonkers.
Okay, I wouldn't say I was aware that it was a game.
As a
I
concept.
think as a kid, everything's a game to kids.
Sure.
So in that sense, that that's how I looked at it. But I didn't see, as a teenager.
Saying, why this game is so fucking boring and the rain has started.
Yeah, now it's started to rain, so
It might be a good
this is
time. I mean,
nature telling us to bugger off.